Signify with aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion carries. Item D, solid waste resolution by roll call. Do we have a motion and approval for our solid waste resolution?
I can make that motion.
Support. Motion's made and supported. Any board discussion?
Yes, you've all heard me speak about the raises that we've done for this for years, and if anybody, I don't like them. Every year I bring up the percentage amount. I think really Carol and I were very influential on holding back the hazardous waste thing, and I understand the need for that. But it sounds like the citizens have spoken, and there's nothing better than I would like to do than to cut out all the trash pickup. Because as somebody that's lived in the township for over 22 years, I haven't put a whole pickup out in my whole 22 years. So I'm paying monies every year to pick up other people's garbage. And yes, they accumulate a lot of crap. Drive around and look at the crap that's out there. Stacks of pallets, tires, mattresses, everything you can think of that people hoard and then put out for $62 a year. Well, it went from 55 to 58 to 64. So there would be nothing that would make me happier than to just do away with the whole dang program. I understand the need for it. If we don't do it, it's gonna end up in the ditches. We'll end up picking it up anyway. We've tried the bringing stuff to the hall. It didn't work. Elderly people that drive a Toyota cannot put their crap in the back of that Toyota. People that don't have pickups aren't gonna be able to bring their stuff in. So on one hand, I can see the need for this because I don't want it in the ditches of Cooper Township, and I want to help out the people that can't do it. We've tried to adjust it. Deanna and Carol have done a great job of putting in the newsletter one load that will fit in the back of a pickup. Well, as I drive around this township for the past week, there's at least 10 people that have out at least 3 pickup loads of crap out there. And I'm really hoping that Allied Waste picks up their one pickup load and leaves the rest there, because somehow the signal's gotta get out. That's the biggest, almost the biggest expenditure here of waste. Kirby recycling is a needed thing. It puts product back into the circle of recycling, and it's a very well-run program. I believe that we're pretty clean with our recycling from what I hear. There's not a lot of garbage in there like the city of Kalamazoo has. But if the citizens have spoken and they wanna do away with trash pickup, my vote is there.
Well, I think, thank you, and I think I want to add another thing too, meaning of household hazardous waste. In our 10,000 that we spend, that gets spent prior to the end of the year, the calendar year, we've tried to put in our newsletter other options for people to get rid of waste oil, people to get rid of batteries, people, who will take it. It's on our website that people, so they know where they can take them, whether it be a tire place for tires or oil at a repair shop that takes used oil. I mean, we're trying to give people other avenues that are free to do that. So with that being said, any other board members have any discussion? Thank you, Jim, I appreciate that.
I just want to say though, by the looks of these numbers, we're going to be shorter. Like, this is obviously being well used. Yeah, and we just raised it from 8,000 to 10, so that's a pretty big increase percentage-wise. And if we're done in August this year, that'd be one of the earliest days. But I can almost see by the numbers that Cooper residents are going in there, which is a good thing. You're getting rid of some toxic stuff, but it would really, we're going to be hit with that. That's going to want to raise that again this year, Jennifer. She's going to want more money to serve the citizens of Cooper. But how much is enough? How much would we raise that? We talk about being fiscally conservative, which as a board member, I truly feel that we are, and yet we can't seem to get ahead of this thing, especially, and I'm glad everybody's here for this tonight, because I wanted for a long time to hear people hear how I feel about this picking up people's garbage. So, and some that don't use it, pay for the ones that overuse it. So that's, sorry, Jeff, to take 2 times, but
No worries.
thank you.
Jim, are you talking about taking your hazardous waste out to that place in Comstock?
Yeah, Lamont Street.
I go there at least twice a year and
Okay.
take.
And it's a good thing.
It
They can
is.
take stuff
It
there.
is.
Go early in the year, don't go late.
There's
go
so
early.
many people that don't recycle, don't do anything. They just put it in their garbage and away with it.
Hazardous.
And it's a shame.
Yeah, I
It's a
agree with you,
shame.
Marilyn.
Okay. We have a motion, we have a support, and this resolution. Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Tynstra. Mr. Hahn. Mr. Sorensen,
Right.
yes. Mrs. Jansen.
Yes.
Mr. Frederick.
Yes.
And Mr. Veleenstra.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you. All right, we need a motion to open our public hearing on the streetlight special assessment district. Do we have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Support it.
Motion's been made and supported. All in favor of opening the public hearing on the streetlight special assessment district, signify with aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion carries. Do we have our notice of public hearing, affidavit of mailing, and proof of publication?
Yes,
Okay, do we have any oral or written comments prior to public hearing?
I do not.
Okay, are there any citizens in the audience that would like to make comments on our streetlight resolution?
Can I ask what it is?
Absolutely. Streetlight resolution, if you live within, the special assessment district in Cooper Township is that if you live within 300 feet of a streetlight, you're assessed a certain point of a mill to operate that streetlight for the whole township. And anybody that's within that 300 feet gets assessed a certain amount. Now this year, that was one of the items that was flush, and we cut it in half, did we? We cut that from, can you kind of give me the number?
0.58 mils down to 0.29 mils.
Correct. And because that one was in the black, and we wanted to cut that down so it was more consummate to what our bills were. And this also allows us, if we get a petition from a neighborhood, people within all 300 feet of where they would like a street light put on, and they're in agreement with it, then we can also have additional lights put on out of that account, so.
Are you in the black because some of those streetlights don't work?
Yes, and if some of the street lights that you know of that may be near you, if you have a computer, you can go on Consumers website and just type street light power or street light out, Consumers Energy. It'll bring you to a website to be able to put on the address, and it will be fixed relatively quickly. If you don't have a computer, call us here, call me, and I'll be happy to report it for you. But they do come and fix them at no charge.
And they're pretty quick at it too.
Yes.
Did you say you needed to live within 300 feet?
Yes, or not live, no, if you have property within 300 feet. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
You did. Thank you. Appreciate you keeping it straight. So, any other comments? Hearing none, then I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing on our streetlight special assessment.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll support it.
Thank you. We have a motion to close the public hearing. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Item number D is our streetlight resolution. This will be by roll call vote, and we need a motion to approve the streetlight resolution.
So moved.
Support it?
Motion made and supported. Is there any board discussion? Hearing none, this will be by roll call vote. Mr. Veleenstra.
Yes.
Mr. Fredericks.
Yes.
Mrs. Jansen.
Yes.
Mr. Sorensen, yes. Mr. Hahn.
Yes.
Mr. Tynstra.
Yes.
And Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Item number 10 this evening is request to combine lot 34, 476, 870 with same prefix number 860. And that is in your packet. And do we have any questions or entertain a motion to make that combination?
Question, what's the picture here for?
The house was torn down.
Color.
The house that's on
Oh,
one of the lots
that
was
there?
torn
Okay,
down.
Okay, gotcha.
So Kim wouldn't put their application in until the house was raised on the second piece, so that's why it's there.
Okay, we're working on all that now.
This is a housekeeping issue for the township, basically, that has to go through the board approval.
Can make that motion,
Where are
Jeff?
the two lines?
And she's made that look pretty nice now.
Yeah. What address is the,
861 East G.
yes. Okay. I believe we have a motion. Did I hear a support?
Who made the motion?
And I'll support that.
I did.
Okay. Motion made and supported. Any board discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify with aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Item number 11 is our Michigan Spark Grant results and staff memo from Julie Johnson. We'd like to make a motion to accept this for information.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion from the board? I will just let the audience know that we, one of the things that some of the residents did mention, they'd like to see maybe a park or something across the street, and we applied for the Michigan Spark Grant to do something. We had spent some money with Old Boyle Blaylock and Associates to put together a plan for a little pavilion over there and some playground equipment, and we were denied the grant, so I just wanted to let them know we did try for it, so. All right, do we have a motion in support? Okay, any board discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify with aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion carries. Item number 12 this evening is to reappoint Alan Osselmeyer to a 4-year term on the Plainville Library Board. He has been chair of that board now for a number of years and done a very good job for representing the township on that board, and would entertain a motion to reappoint him for a 4-year term.
I'd like to make that motion.
Support.
And I'll support that.
Okay, motion's been made and double supported. Any discussion from the board?
He has done a great job
He
of
has.
giving his time up, because there was some controversy and he handled it very well, I thought.
Over the years,
Many
there
years,
certainly
yes.
has been, yes.
And I just met him, he's a real good guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Dan and Al helped me set up for the precincts.
Well, they did, Al, did,
Yeah.
retired guy.
Yep. Okay, we have a motion in support. All in favor of the motion signify with aye. Any nays? Motion carries. Item number 13 this evening is Township Construction Project bids and the architect's recommendation. I would like to just bring up a couple of things before I turn it over to Bruce. A couple of things I wanted to mention with the ARPA funds. Granted, the fire department is very important to this board as well as you as citizens. And as Terry said, we have never denied them what their needs were. And this is something that the township has been saving for, this addition and reconfiguration of the hall to move the entrance to the rear. I know, as you heard, we did purchase a property to the north of the house here, but we also were able to acquire at no cost, trading some frontage on Douglas to Sleeman's and getting this back area free. And in the winter, when we rent the hall, as Terry mentioned, we have not had any incidents of anybody getting hurt crossing the street, but it is this is your hall and should be used. I know since COVID we haven't rented it out, but this is something that we consider as a safety issue, and elderly people that want to rent the hall, whether it be during the day for funeral luncheons or whether it be for Christmas parties or wedding receptions, what have you. The only parking lot they have is either way down by the fire station, which if they have a major fire call, it's full, and that means parking across the street. And as I mentioned, this is something the township has saved for a number of years. We looked at this, I know, over 5 years ago, and you're right, the cost of construction has doubled. And with the estimates that we looked at about 5 years ago, but we put it out, we got 4 bids, and Callaway Construction was the low bid, and at 1.6 with a contingency of 5% to put it at 1.7, and it's not 1.9. And I will let Bruce have the floor and discuss with the board, and we'll go from there.
I think you just took all my thunder. So, yes, we took 4 bids, hall builders, glass.
Would you grab the mic and turn it on, because I can hear you, but I don't think anybody behind you can, Bruce.
So, yes, with your approval, we went out and took bids on the proposed project. There was 4 bidders, Hall Builders, Glass Associates, Miller Davis, and Callaward. We've reviewed those and made some minor adjustments, and after adding a few things plus the contingency covers things like once we open the building up, we don't know where things are in the walls. And things are gonna show up that are just gonna have to be paid more than was in the bid that wasn't covered. So that's what really the contingency's for.
That would have been for anybody we picked, correct? Not just-
Absolutely, yes. So the total recommended price is $1,750,875 with the contingency and a few other things, which we're recommending the Callaware Group do this project. They're ready to start within 5 days of your approval, and I'm here to answer any further questions that you may have.
Board members, questions or Bruce? And I know the ARPA funds that we were bestowed as a township were $1.6 million, and we did divvy it up 3 ways for the fire service. Regardless of the fact if the whole $1.6 million was given to the fire department, there still would be a need for a special assessment. I will be the first to say that, and apologize that the ballot language was not enough whatsoever, and I'm thoroughly sorry for that. And I don't disagree with any of you here on why you may have voted yes or no. But that amount of money would not have made a difference on the needs of the department for needing a special assessment district or a millage or something for the township. This is something that this board has planned for over the years, and I would like to see done for our residents. And I understand there's several of you here that don't feel that way, and that's your thoughts, and I respect that. But in the same token, I would like to hear from our board members.
I have a question. Is
Well,
there a
I have a
timeframe on
couple
it?
questions. Are we too late to
Yeah.
ask questions?
Being that this big of an issue as many people, I will honor that tonight. So if you raise your hand and state your name, and I'd be happy to.
Okay. Well, I guess my name is Anna Bratman, and I live at 8668 North Riverview Drive. My question is, if you've saved for so many years for an addition to this building, but yet you're saying that you're putting the fire department is top on your list, why have you not been saving for the fire department? And I think everybody here understands that the 1.9 million is not
Out of that budget, we put in $100,000 of capital outlay for the last few years since we've been saving for this, for the fire department, for equipment and so forth. When you're looking at a station, if we were just being able to save that amount of money, a station is much more than $1.6 million,
and everybody here understands that it is much more, I assume everybody does.
and we
probably
have the
shouldn't.
moratorium.
But I understand that the 1.9 million would not cover what the fire department needs. And I am all for the fire department, I am all for. But I don't think the board has done a very good job of explaining up until this meeting what you spent that money on. And if you can save for an addition to this building that quite honestly, I don't think is necessary.
Right.
Agreed.
Why can you not save that kind of money? If you're saying you want the fire department is first, why is that money not being spent on the fire department where it is needed? If they are a first priority for you, you're not showing that they're first priority. You're showing that you're priority.
Citizens are priority.
Jeff, if we've saved this money for this building, then why did you take $300,000 of the COVID money and add it to this project? And, I'm tired of being told that this project is 1.7 or 1.75875. Add the $200,000 that you paid for the house down the street, the $100,000 for the architect. Let's tell the truth. Let's give us the real numbers instead of telling us that, oh, it's not 1.9. Add it up, it's over 2 million. And, you know, there could be unforeseen conditions, which they've added some money to the contract for. And Jim, I've heard you say twice on something so minimal as waste tonight that people have spoken. Well, you got a room full of people that have spoken about what you're about to do. Thank you.
Your numbers are wrong, Mark.
Oh, yeah.
Numbers are wrong.
Sure. Okay.
He said one
Young
seven.
lady?
Stephanie Kane again. A couple of things. My first thing is, we're talking about approving how much money for this project? Could you clarify that for me again? What did he just say?
$1,785,000?
Okay, so $1.7 million of our taxpayers' dollars,
And ARPA funds.
and nobody except for Jeff has a one question on this board. That is totally inappropriate to me. You better have questions for him. We can't just frivolously spend this money. There should be questions. You should have real thought behind this. And I believe what Mark is saying here. You were so happy to say, oh, somebody wants to get rid of the curbside pickup. That was one person. All of us here are saying you should be putting the fire department first, and we're not doing that. We're telling you that this building does not need to be before the fire department. So when are you going to listen to us? When are you going to take our advice and our needs? Our needs are the fire department. I don't need to have a place for a wedding reception. I don't need to have a place for a Saturday get-together. There's plenty of places I can do that somewhere else if I wanted to. I'm certainly not coming here, and you certainly aren't renting the place out now, are you? Last I knew you weren't.
Well, not until, no.
Okay,
No.
then we don't.
But, and that's not the plan in the future. Sir, Mr. Collins.
Yeah, Mike Collins, again, he just stated the numbers are wrong. At 1,785, like you said, and 199 for that house, that puts you back up to 1.9, in which you said it wasn't. And for you to sit up there and complain about $26,000 being ridiculous, when you're sitting there talking about spending 1.9 on this building, that's a hypocritical statement right there.
All right. We're done with the public at this time, except Larry, go ahead, last one.
Sorry.
No worries.
Can a motion be put forward to cancel all that until everything else is taken care of?
They're gonna bid it
And put it up for a vote, where all the people get to decide?
And stick at the seven.
We already did.
No,
What you see tonight, Larry, is that the board will vote, and whether, if it passes, it passes, if it doesn't, it's dead for a while. I mean, now.
No, I mean all the people. Put it on the ballot,
I
so
understand
that the people get the vote.
But tonight we need to make a motion as a board, whether we move forward or we don't. And then if we decide later to move forward, yes, that's a possibility of what you're asking, but if the board has a majority of voting to go forward, then it goes forward. If it has a motion that is to not proceed, then it's dead until another time, and whether it be brought up as a bond issue or what have you that is needed, that's to be decided in the future. It either flies or dies tonight at this meeting.
You should listen to the people,
The board
not
decides?
the board.
$2 million, you have to have the approval of the voters.
No, they're voting on themselves.
The board decides. The board
The
decides.
board decides whether we move forward tonight. It's not a,
So this tells.
So you can spend that $2 million without us agreeing to it. Correct.
that's correct.
I'm just trying to.
No, absolutely. No, I get what you're
Just
saying.
need one trustee to go along with them.
So that just shows they're
Just one.
gonna prove how important the fire department is.
All right, public is closed at this point, board discussion only.
Well, I'd like to say it is a lot of money, but about the house that we purchased for under $200,000, before we made that purchase, we put the property that Cooper owned up for sale right by Whistler's Service Center.
Still for sale.
And,
Some of it, some has been sold.
we have sold some, and that's going right back into the general fund, right? And, well, it all hasn't been sold yet.
It's our asset, it's our asset. You know, if I take money out of my shoebox and then I take money out of the bank,
I
it still
get it,
costs
I get
the
it.
same.
Board open,
So,
please.
you know, that's hogwash.
Let's go.
So, and some of the money that, when we bought the property over there, was ARPA money. It wasn't money that you had, it was, or the money that was taxed on you, that was ARPA money.
ARPA money's COVID money, it's still our money.
Then,
Make your comments. Oh, they can comment if they'd like.
Can I say one more
I
thing?
honestly think that we're a conservative group, like we've all have talked about. The building was talked about before I even came on the board. So it's been in the making for 5+ years or something like that. The fire department is just something, I'm kinda thinking things would have been different if we went ahead, did this building, and then asked for support for the fire department. We just was trying to work really quick on it, and, as a board, I know that you guys, myself included, will make sure that our fire department gets whatever it needs. It's just gonna be like a plan, just like we have with this building. It's just gonna be a, start today,
Right.
we're gonna go forward on, another year.
No, he won't. It is there's also needs that, for staff that we have, and elections, don't have enough room for a major election to have a county board, and the extra rooms that would be added on, extra couple rooms and a garage that will be added on, are something that's definitely needed for the records retention and election equipment storage that we don't have a room for now, that are in the way. This is something that's been thought of for a long time. Now granted, I agree with you very much and on the fire department, but this is something that we've spent, as Mark said, we've spent $60,000 with our architect, and the monies that we spent ARPA funds to buy the home next door. This has all been a board decision, not a Jeff decision or a Carol or a Deanna decision. This has been a board decision to move forward with this. I guess I'm just asking for the board to, if they have any comments, fine. If not, then just put it to a vote of the board and see what the desires. Fred?
Well, I agree with what people are saying, and I guess if you're not in this office, you probably don't see the need of it, but it came kind of real to me 2 years ago. I had to transfer some land, and we had to lay out some papers, and trying to lay out papers, and all we had was one little desk to be able to work out, and we laid a bunch of papers on the floor, and other papers on the floor.
Sorry.
It's tight, it is really tight. You guys are doing it, and I appreciate it, but this township is not what it was 5 years ago. It's grown, and there's more paperwork and stuff like that. And we lost our parking in the front. That became a big issue for me. I just don't like the idea of people walking across the road all the time. That's my
Please.
I think it's time to do something to move ahead of it. We had the opportunity to buy this in the back, which really fit into the plan. This plan has been, I've been on this board for quite a few years, and I've heard about it for quite a while, and now we're trying to pull the trigger on it.
So as a board member here, I see the need, by all means, I see the need. I know that elections, the ABD board is, sequestered in a small room, and they do need the, the space to count absentee ballots for the big elections. There's no doubt there.
That's crap. I've worked on that for years.
40 years.
God.
Please, respect here, people, really, we're up here talking. The need for the office staff and what they do, by all means. But, since we spoke about this in January really heavily and went forward with it from that, I've had my support for this was really contingent on the fire department vote. I thought you know me, I don't really care to spend money. I see the need for it, but do I see that we could get by, you know, with not doing it? I understand, like, you know, Trustee Williams there saying the costs aren't going down. I wish that we had trimmed this project back before we, you know, spent money with Bruce there, that we might have slowed it down and said, well, the garage issue came up. Trustee Allen brought it up about, you know, do we really need to convert the garage and do something different with it? You know, it's a lot of money to spend on that. It is the future of Cooper Township by all means, but, you know, is it something that now it is now the appropriate time for? And it's not because of the rhetoric in this room here, as much as it is, you know, times are difficult for people out there. Property taxes are going up. It's not Cooper part that's going up, it's everything but Cooper. And, you know, we live in a conservative township. We put 2 millages to the people in the last 3 years, and both of them have been small amounts, but were shot down. The K-RISA was shot down in Cooper, which congratulations, Cooper citizens, but we are a small vote in Kalamazoo County. So, you know, I don't feel good about it. And there again, this is my feeling, not the rhetoric in this room. It's not a political thing. It's just me coming out of my pocket with the money. And, yeah, so I just, that's just how I feel about it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you guys all know how I feel with the elections. Yes, we have an AV counting board, but with a presidential primary and November and August elections, we need 3 AV counting boards, and we don't have any place to put them. So that was why we needed extra rooms for AV counting boards and county ballots. Our AV ballots have quadrupled, and they're gonna do it again because now AV ballots instead of applications are the new law. So with Prop 2 last year, we've got all these new things we have to implement, and we have no place to implement them. 9 days of early voting before every state and federal election. So there's just a lot of stuff that's gonna be coming for elections, and I totally agree with what Jeff said about the safety. I mean, people walking when this room was being rented, and yes, we stopped renting it out when COVID hit, and we did not go back to it because we were hoping this project would come up. And so then we didn't want to book the room out in advance and then have to cancel or something like that. So we just didn't rent it out until we knew what was gonna be happening. We also used to have a large amount of money we'd have to pay for this room to be rented because of the tables being heavy, and that's part of that plan also, is so that renters can come in and they don't have to pay that high cost of the cleaning fee, because they're gonna be setting it up themselves. We're gonna get rid of the heavy tables and make it easier for those renters and residents to use it. And we only rent to residents. We don't rent to anybody else so that it's available for our residents only. And I would like to say that this isn't the first time we've discussed this. We've been talking about this plan for a year. And it's nice that you're all here, but we could have had these conversations prior to that. Just saying.
We have, but nobody knows about it. We didn't know.
We've been talking about it here for a year.
Yeah, here, but nothing has been said anyplace else.
Okay.
Deanna, I missed the conversation about when we were gonna buy the house. That wasn't in a meeting. There was no conversation. That was a special quick meeting called. And, you know, and this whole thing about everybody's safety, you know, Fred, where are you parked at? Are you across the street? Did you walk? Because that's where I came from. How about you, Dan? Are you front row parking like usual?
Absolutely.
So you're really not concerned about people walking across the street? You're just using it as fluff?
I'm just that shoulder member of this board, but I always get here.
Yours is coming, Jim. Hold on.
I don't wanna hear it, Mark. Your rhetoric and rubbish.
Carol?
I am in favor of the addition. My main issue is safety and security for our residents, for our staff. Our mechanicals here in the building are in really bad shape. Bruce can attest to this. We've dealt with it for years since I've worked here. Bad heating, bad air conditioning. We've had a terrible rodent problem and suspended ceilings. That's my comment.
Adam?
I think even before tonight's meeting, you guys could tell where I felt a little bit on it, jumping with Jim there. Number one, I mean, when we started talking about it, when plans were started up and everything, 1.5 was the number we were given. I mean, either way, we're looking ballpark $250,000 over. I mean, $250,000, that's a good chunk of change. It's gonna take us a minute to get that back, if we get it back without it going somewhere else. I don't think that all of it needs to go. I think there's things that need to improve here. But as far as doing it all at once or any of that, I think it's too far over budget right now. It's just not what we can allot that kind of money for to do in a single project or in a single check. I mean, to write that much and take it there, yeah, we put ARPA money for it. That can help for a little while, can do whatever, but I don't think we need to pull that much more out of the general fund to be able to do it. And just like Terry said, I mean, those costs are going up, we still support them. I don't wanna see us spend all this and not be able to support them because of it. So that's where I stand as far as it is, I think it needs to be scaled back.
Dan, did you have any other comments?
Maybe to Carol and Deanna, do we have extra ARPA funds that we haven't used yet for the building that we could apply for this?
There's $135,000 unspecified, I can't remember the name of the insurance.
And one of the things with the ARPA funds too that I failed to mention, they have to be obligated by the end of this
Obligated,
year
that's the word.
and spent by 2026. It's not something that we can continue to save those funds on and on and on. So this is something that has to go for a project now, not 4 years from now or anything like that.
Fire department.
Yeah, let's put it to the safety of your citizens.
That money applied to,
God.
the overall cost of the building? Are you gonna make a motion to do that? I mean, is that something that?
And we can do that anytime, because we have until the end of 2024 to obligate those funds, and that would help with that. We could put it, yeah.
What was your comment again? I didn't catch
There's
that.
$135,000 of ARPA funds that are not obligated at this time that have to be obligated by the end of 2024. And if this project moves forward tonight with the board, that's something that we can obligate those funds towards this project
To reduce the cost.
to reduce the cost. That's correct.
Now, that's not including the fire department, right? The money that's.
Right, that's already been,
They already have theirs.
They have theirs, and they've bought their equipment, they bought their truck,
We
and
still have more.
they still have more to go. But it's obligated to the fire
Can
department.
I make a motion to put that $135,000 towards the building today? To lessen that?
First
amount?
off, we need a motion to either move forward with this renovation, and then you could also say to apply that $135,000 towards the building renovation. That would be a motion that you could make, and then it would be up to this board to determine whether it passes.
I'd be willing to do that if nobody else has any questions.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to go ahead with, was that Cali Ward? And apply the, what was the word?
Obligated.
Obligated funds, the $135,000 of ARPA funds for this project.
I'll support that.
Okay, we have a motion and we have support. Any more board discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify with aye.
Aye.
Nays?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Enjoy your new building.
Yeah, forget the citizens, they might burn down.
No, it just shows they care more about their people.
Okay, let's start with trustee comments. Let's start with you, Fred.
No, I just, really
Thank you,
appreciate
guys. Really, thank all of you. I'm ready to go.
Appreciate the opportunity and I went to conference. Learned a lot.
Chauffeur's leaving.
I learned also that how this.
Hey, great weather. Get your ride home.
Can you plug into your mic, please?
My meeting's not over. Wait, my meeting's not over. Yeah, thank you.
Tell her I'm gonna get your ride home with me. You don't
Can you talk into your mic, please, Fred?
Our meeting's not over.
He could get Fred, because his voice, he's got a cold, so his voice is really low, so just loosen it up a little.
We went to a conference a couple weeks ago, Township Board up in Traverse City, and really a nice conference that I hold every year. But after coming back from that, I am so appreciative of the way that this township and this board operates. I know people don't like to see money in the bank, but when we want to do something, we save ahead of time. It's kind of like when I was a little kid. I couldn't buy something until I had the money in the bank.
Asked for a new fire station for 10
And so,
years.
that's what, we learned that's what this township does, and I think it's good. We've been working for this, knowing that this would come. Thanks.
Victor? I just want to, first of all, apologize to Ray. I was a little hurt to you, and I have more respect for you than that. So I just, when I hear misinformation, I go off, makes me a little emotional. You know, and I heard a lot of that tonight, like the monies in the bank are so far off. If we had $6 million, fire department would have a new building and a truck probably, but we don't. The engineer didn't cost us $100,000. Just misinformation is what hurts things, and it's really disrespectful, because I believe as a board that we do a good job for the 11,000 residents of this community, not the 50 that are present. So I think I can speak for all of us. We have the whole township in our best interest at all times, and I've seen it and felt it. So thank you.
I'm good, thanks.
Adam?
I'm all set.
Dan?
I just want to say that I kind of wish everybody would have spoke up a couple of months ago before we invested $60,000 into this building along with the new property over here. But we do try to make up for it by the property over near Monalvit and G Avenue. And we are going to get some of that money back. But this has been going on for a while, and the fire department is not going to lack anything. This board is in full compliance to help out the fire department, but we're not going to be able to get them a new building right away. Even if it would have passed, even the assessment would have passed, you wouldn't have got the building right away anyway. So I think what we need to do, somebody mentioned that we need to get some language on the ballot that was more understanding for everybody, and maybe try again in November. I don't know if that's too early or not, but maybe you know, in the near future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're adjourned.